Gets back. He's not running. Yeah, he ain't in church. If you don't want to keep coming, I'll fall on there. Everybody has the same stuff.
Hello and welcome to Ashland, Ohio. We're at Brookside Park for the nightcap in this three-day tournament. On the field right now, the home team, Circle Tap. They'll be taking on the number one ranked team in the world, the New York Gremlins. You are watching this on the Gremlins Network. I'm Jim Flanagan. Happy to have you with us from wherever you may be. We'll get to those starting lineups in just a moment. Gremlins will start off with Lucio Redemar in the leadoff spot, Ladislao Malarchuk, the DP, in the number 2. Benny Noka will hit third, Eric Ochoa fourth, Cole Evans fifth, Tane Mumu batting sixth, Nick Mullen seventh, Abayardo Penuelas, a newcomer to the Gremlins, will bat eighth, and Gonzalo Masmu ninth. Jack Besgrove is the starting pitcher. And the defense for the Circle Tap Dukes from Denmark, Wisconsin. It'll be in the outfield, Tyler Johnson, Scott Patterson in center, Callum Bischel over in right field. Around the infield, Matt Harrow at third base, Francisco Ortellado at short, Justin Laskowski at second base, and the veteran Blair Ezekiel over at first base. Tyler Damon behind the plate doing the catching, and Matt Beckett in the circle, and we are just about ready to get underway. First pitch to Redemar. In for a called strike on the outside part of the plate. Redemar, for those of you not familiar, is a newcomer his first year with the Gremlins. He hails from Argentina. Little one-hop bunt fielded by Beckett, flips it over to Ezekiel for the first out. So 1-3 on the putout. Batting second for the Gremlins, Ladislao Malarchuk, also from Argentina. Little change up on the outside part of the plate. Malarchuk, of course, the regular second baseman for some time for the Gremlins. He'll be the DP in this game, the designated player. Looks at one off the plate. Beautiful ballpark here in Ashland, Ohio. Sunny skies today. The sun has set, and we are settled in for a beautiful night here at Brookside Park. Beckett misses away. Circle Tap with 4 Australians on their roster. It's Matt, Pat, and Bischel. So Beckett, one of the Australians, doing the pitching. Matt Harrow over at third. Scott Patterson, as we mentioned, in center, and Callum Bischel over in right field. Given chase over by the foul line, makes the catch for out number 2. Tyler Johnson going all the way over to the fence to make that catch.
With 2 outs, up to bat, the center fielder,
Benny Noka will step in for the Gremlins, batting in the 3 spot tonight, as he generally does. Ben, of course, was with the New Zealand Black Sox in the qualifier, the WBSC qualifier in Prince Albert recently, had a good tournament. And one of the reasons New Zealand finds themselves heading to next year's World Cup. Along with Argentina, the other team to come out of that loop. Little change in for a called strike on the outside edge. The other pitchers for Circle Tap, Jorge Segura has done the most pitching, and right behind him in innings pitched is the Canadian Devin McCullough. So Beckett has been the 3, fewer innings. Getting some great experience tonight against the number 1 ranked team in the world. Pitch to Inoka downstairs, taken for a ball. Again, the infield for Circle Tap. It's Harrow at third, Ortellado at second, or at short, Laskowski at second, and Ezekiel over at first. Corners just about even with the bag right now. In for a called strike. Eric Ochoa, the leading hitter in most every offensive category for the Gremlins, will be next if we get that far. Little flare off the light pole, bounces up over our head. We are up at the second level, second story, so to speak, right behind home plate. Best seat in the house, and we are happy to share it with you. Bischel shaded over towards the foul line in right, so the gap is in right center. And Inoka lays off that one. Beckett takes a long look in, thought he had it. So Ben Inoka will take a spot down at first base with 2 out. It'll bring up Eric Ochoa. Ochoa, as we mentioned, the leader in almost every offensive category thus far for the Gremlins. Swing and a miss comes up late on that one. Good contact hitter, good home run power. He has done both already in this 2024 season. Ball high, stays upstairs. Fouled up and out of play over on the left side. Some of the crowd you see on hand tonight, they've been filing in all night long. Little ice cream store down in the corner has been full, and lots of those folks coming on down the hill to join us. A great setup here at Brookside. Ball high, stays upstairs. Swing and a miss, and Ochoa's late on that pitch. So Beckett gets the strikeout to end the inning. Inoka stranded at first for the Gremlins in the first. No runs, no hit, 1 man left. We played a half inning. The New York Gremlins, nothing, and circle tap. Dukes from Denmark, Wisconsin coming to bat. Home half of the first inning. If you just joined us, you haven't missed too much. The game started a little bit late, as did the early game between AWP Lumberjacks and Midland. Everyone, of course, knows about the Microsoft crash of all the computers and the trouble they had with airplanes all over the country. And that carried on over to some of the players traveling here. So a little bit of a late start this evening. So we're just in the first inning. Jack Besgrove is in the circle for the Gremlins. His defense behind him. Lucio Redamar in left, Ben Inoka in center. Abayardo Panuelas, the youngster from Mexico, a newcomer tonight. His first game for the Gremlins. Gonzalo Masmu at third, Cole Evans at short, Tane Mumu, the New Zealander, at second base, and Eric Ochoa over at first. Nick Mullins, the veteran from Team USA, doing the catching. And as we said, in the circle, player that many regard as one of the top 2 best pitchers in the world, Jack Besgrove. in on the outside edge for a called strike. So Jack will get a chance to face some of his teammates tonight. As we mentioned, 4 Australians, Matt Harrell, Matt Beckett, Scott Patterson, and Callum Bieshel, all part of that team Australia that won the first qualifier back in Hermosillo, Mexico, just a couple of months ago. So they have their ticket punch, so to speak, for the WBSC World Cup next year. That one off the top of the glove. Scott Patterson is at the plate at the moment. In for a called strike on the outside edge. That one on the outside edge, no doubt about that one. Called strike 3, so down on strikes goes Patterson. First strikeout of the game. There you see it on the replay. Good location on that outside edge. Nothing you could do with that pitch. Tyler Johnson will step in for circle tap. Tyler, a member of Team USA. So Nick Mullins will be familiar with him. Tyler in his 5th year now with Circle Tap, joined the team in 2019. Swing and a miss late on that one. A little extra zip on that ball from Jack Besgrove. So Besgrove ahead quickly, 0-2 on Tyler Johnson. Swing and a miss late on that one. Down on strikes goes Tyler Johnson. So 2 up and down quickly. Second strikeout of the game for Jack Besgrove. So the batter for Circle Tap will be Callum Bieshel. So it's Australian against Australian here. Foul tip off the screen, a little bit late on that one. Little change up as if he needs it, down in the dirt on that one. In on the outside edge, taken for a called strike. Outfield for the Gremlins playing fairly shallow. Redamar in left, Benny in center, and the youngster Pinuelas in right field. As hard as Besgrove throws, probably the right place to be playing them at this point in the game anyway, until Circle Tap can barrel up some of those pitches from Jack Besgrove. Pretty tough thing to do. Foul tip straight back to the screen. Had a pretty good hack at that one. Luigi Pinto, the DP for Circle Tap, on deck if we get to him this inning. Little slow roller down to third. It'll be Gonzalo Mazmu coming up with the play over to Eric Ochoa for the out. So a 5-3 on your scorecard if you're keeping one at home. 3 up and down for Circle Tap in the first. No runs, no hits, and no one left. We'll head to the top half of the second inning. No score in this one. The nightcap from Brookside Park in Ashland, Ohio. The New York Gremlins and Circle Tap. Top half of the second inning for the Gremlins. It'll be 4, 5, and 6. That means Cole Evans, Tane Mumu, and Nick Mullins. Panuelos, the youngster, would follow. Evans among the leaders in the power categories, as he often is for the Gremlins. 2 home runs already on the season. Only Eric Ochoa with 3 has more. Also among the leaders in RBIs. Cole had a big hit in Port Huron, Michigan tournament this year to win one of the games on Sunday. Gremlins struggled to score runs during parts of that tournament. Came through, did Evans with a big double to win a ball game. There's a high hopper to short. Up with it is Ortellado and over to first base to Ezequiel. So Evans retired for the first out of the inning. It'll bring up Gonzalo Mazmu. Tane Mumu.
Now batting the second baseman, number 2, Tane Mumu.
Tane, the fine infielder from New Zealand, getting some experience as a starter tonight. Some of the Gremlins you may have noticed missing in action or not here with the team this weekend. Jerome Remeke, of course, the usual fixture down at third base, not here. So Gonzalo Mazmu, one of the other youngsters, getting some playing time as well. Matthew Waugh, another one not here tonight. Redemar has given the skipper Greg Leather and his coach Greg Hicks another option for that outfield. Waugh is missing and Redemar steps right in. So a very deep bench for the Gremlins. We'll see how it plays out this weekend with some of the main characters, so to speak, missing from the lineup. That was the case in Saskatoon a week ago when some of their players wound up on Team New Zealand and Team Canada in that pre-qualifier tournament. So Gremlins taken a couple of losses in that one. They fell in a real close game to Hill United, 1-0, even though Jack Besgrove struck out 15 in that game, and then lost 1 to New Zealand. Those are the only dents in the armor, so to speak. The Gremlins come into this tournament with a 14-2 record. Circle Tap on the other side, very close. 11 wins against 3 losses. Ranked number 6 at present. They were number 5 in the preseason rankings. Swing and a miss late is Tane. So down on strikes for the second out.
Now batting, the catcher, Nick Mullins.
So the batter for the Gremlins will be Nick Mullins, the catcher. Batting a little bit higher in the batting order this week. Usually down around that 8th spot where he has become a fixture. Some good power in that bat. Ball stays upstairs high. Ortellado out at short with his hands up as if to say, where was the pitch? Beckett likewise not happy with the call. Mullins, of course, the veteran catcher. He has a catcher's eye. Has a pretty good idea of that strike zone. That one's in for a called strike. Circle Tap coming off a very good Boys of Summer tournament that they hosted last week in Denmark, or the week before in Denmark, Wisconsin. Made it all the way to the championship game. Had a 4-0 lead at one point over number 2 ranked Hill United, but let it get away. Hill United came back to win the game, but Circle Tap very strong throughout the tournament, right on into that championship game. That one's in for a called strike. Mullins starting to head down to first base. So the count full on Nick Mullins, 3-2. 2 outs and nobody aboard. And that one's up high for ball 4. So Mullins, as did Inoka, works a 2-out walk. And it'll be up to the youngster from Mexico, Abayardo Penuelas, in his first at-bat as a New York Gremlin. Penuelas, a member of the U23 team for Mexico, pool of players, one of the fine youngsters coming up through the ranks in Mexico. Great speed. Skipper Greg Leather down at third, running through the signs. Would like to have him find a spot over at first base and show off some of that speed. Lace down the line. That's going to be in for a base hit. Rounding first, and he'll head on down to second with a stand-up double in his first at-bat as a Gremlin is Abayardo Penuelas. Just went the other way with it. Watch on the replay. You'll see it right down the line. That sends Mullins over to third, and the Gremlins are threatening.
Now batting the shortstop, number 66, Gonzalo Masmo.
So it'll be up to Gonzalo Masmu to try and bring home the first run of the game. Catcher Tyler Damon going out to have a word with his pitcher, and now Coach Scott Standifer will head on out, and we'll have a full conference in the circle. Scott Standifer, a longtime coach in the upper levels of the game. First met Scott way back in 2008 or 2009 when he was one of the coaches for the USA Junior men's team. Very knowledgeable about the game, imparting his wisdom to some of those youngsters coming up through the USA. Here's Argentine Gonzalo Masmu, runners at second and third. In for a call, strike on the inside part of the plate. Good location by Beckett. Little hopper back to Beckett. He'll make easy work of it over to Ezekiel. 1-3 on your scorecard for the Gremlins. No runs. A hit, 2 men left. We'll head to the home half of the second inning and be back with more from Ashland, Ohio, Brookside Park. I'm Jim Flanagan. You are watching the Gremlins Network. Home half of the second inning for Circle Tap. We're at the 4, 5, and 6 spots in their batting order. That means Luigi Pinto, followed by Tyler Damon and Blair Ezekiel. Pinto in his second year with Circle Tap. He was the RBI leader at last year's ISC World Tournament and a current member of the Venezuela national team. Venezuela, of course, had a great run in the first qualifier. They were unbeaten until the final day, dropped a pair and find themselves on the outside looking in at the moment. It was Australia coming on strong in that WBSC qualifier. Venezuela now has a chance to come in as one of the wild cards as a third-place finisher, but no guarantee. Pinto hitting about 364 at the moment. Comes in batting 12 hits in 33 at-bats, among the RBI leaders with 9 on the Circle Tap team. No question why he's in that cleanup spot. So Circle Tap with an international flavored roster, as do the Gremlins. Teams at this level always on the lookout for great talent wherever they may hail from. One notable absence for Circle Tap in this tournament, Matt Palazzo, the longtime veteran of Circle Tap. Captain America for the USA national team. So that loss perhaps balancing the scales on the Gremlins being minus a couple of their regular starters. Full count on Pinto, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss late on that one. Down on strikes goes Pinto. Good location by Bestgrove. See if we can pick it up on the replay. There's Pinto.
The catcher, Tyler Damon.
Just a little bit late. You could see the ball tailing downward. Pinto coming up empty. Here's Tyler Damon, number 0 on his back. In for a called strike. Damon, a local Wisconsin boy, was part of the pool of players that were vying to make it onto the USA national team. Didn't make this particular cycle, but he's a player to keep an eye on. 24 or 25 years old, fine young talent from Wisconsin. Circle Tap certainly happy to add him to the lineup. Late is Damon. Bestgrove, of course, with a full repertoire, up, down, and a good changeup. Lots of late movement makes it hard for a youngster like Damon to pick up the ball. And time is called. Late on that one as well. Ball up and away from the left-hander. So down on strikes goes Damon.
Number 21.
Strikeout number 4 in the game for Bestgrove. There you see it on the replay. Hard to catch up with that pitch. The batter for Circle Tap, Blair Ezekiel. Blair, one of 3 Ezekiel brothers playing in the upper levels of men's fastball. Older brother to Brad. And the third brother, of course, Kyle Ezekiel. Blair, the elder of the three. That one's in for a called strike. First of 5 broadcasts on the weekend for you. Hope you can plan some time to spend with us over the weekend. 2 tomorrow and 2 more on Sunday. Ball stays upstairs. Hard one on the outside edge for a called strike. Swing and a miss on the riser. Down on strikes goes Ezekiel. 3 up and 3 down, all strikeouts. 5 in the game now for lefty Jack Besgrove. We played 2 complete. There is no score. We'll be back with the top half of the 3rd inning right after this. Top of the 3rd for the Gremlins, and we are back to the top of the order. That means Redemar, Malarzouk, and Inoka.
Now batting in the top of the 3rd inning, number 21, Lucio Redemar.
Lucio in his first year with the Gremlins. We got our first look at him down in Fort Myers in the exhibition season back in January. Got the only hit off Marco Diaz when they faced Hill United in that one. And he has been off to a torrid start for this 2024 season. Literally responsible for 2 of the big wins that the Gremlins have had. Came up in the Chiefs Challenge tournament out of Simcoe, Ontario in the championship game. Gremlins were behind Hill United, hit a 3-run homer to win it and give them the title in Simcoe. A week later, he was in Port Huron playing in the first game of the day against a very tough Northeast Driller team, the number 4 ranked team in the world, and hit a leadoff home run that stood up as the only run in the game against Martin Gonzalez. So having himself quite a year in 2024 already with the Gremlins, making a great impression, making it hard to keep him out of that lineup. Redemar, the leader in RBIs at that WBC qualifier, but down on strikes he goes. Matt Beckett continues to find the edges against the Gremlins. There you see on the replay. Up and away. So 1 out in the inning. Here's Malarzouk.
Now batting the designated player, Malarzouk.
Ladislao flied to right in his first at-bat. Foul tip a little bit late, got a good piece of it though. Malarczuk more often will find himself down around the 7, 8, 9 spots in the batting order. As we said, with some regulars missing, the lineup has been shuffled a little bit. But Laddie with very good power for someone that hits at that part of the batting order. Swing and a miss late on that one from Beckett. Swing and a miss by Malarczuk, and he's down on strikes.
Now batting, the center fielder, number 89.
Here you see the replay against Malarczuk. That one up and in, so working all parts of the plate. You look at the stats for Beckett, you see that he's got 24 strikeouts in only 15 or so innings, 13 innings pitched, so he can rack them up. It comes too far inside on Ben Inoka. And Ben will be aboard for the second time tonight on a free pass. Walked his last time up. Benny's going to have to get some more armor. He took one in the underarm area, very hard pitch that he was hit by in the Port Huron tournament.
First baseman, Eric Ochoa.
Here's Eric Ochoa. Hard grounder, that's in the hole, in the 5.5 hole. Inoka goes station to station. He'll stop at second base. Eric Ochoa aboard with a single.
Up to bat, number 34.
Here you see it on the replay. He'll just go the other way with it. Not trying to pull the ball, just slapping it through the hole. So the Gremlins once again with 2 runners on, but still 2 outs. It'll be up to Cole Evans to try and bring home a run. Evans with that open stance, wide open. Gets a good look at the pitch coming in. That one stays upstairs for a ball. Downstairs, smothered by Tyler Damon. Good job of keeping that ball in front of him by the youngster. Anything to the grass, I think we're going to see Greg Leather sending Benny Noka. Outfield playing fairly deep. Shaded over towards the foul line is Bichel in right, so the gap in right center. Ball upstairs high. Tane Mumu on deck for the Gremlins. 3-0. And misses downstairs. So 4 straight balls to Cole Evans. Evans, of course, from New Zealand, and Beckett as the youngster from Australia. You have to think he has seen plenty of Cole Evans perhaps pitching around him in that spot, even though the runners were at first and second. Now loaded for the Gremlins, it's Tane Mumu. So perhaps Beckett choosing who he wanted to pitch to. It wasn't Cole Evans. That one's in for a called strike. Beckett really didn't nibble around the edges on Evans at all. It was just 4 wide ones, and comes right back with a strike to Tane Mumu. That one stays upstairs for a ball. Inoka at third, Ochoa at second, Cole Evans over at first. 3 Gremlin veterans on the bases. Up to the youngster Teen Mumu. A little flare down the right field line. Coming on is Bichel and makes the catch with a glove drop down right around the foul line. Looked like that one might fall in. Would have been 2 bases here. Watch it on the replay, you'll see. Just got a little piece of it, sent it the other way. Bichel had to come running and does make the catch for the final out. So the Gremlins, no runs hit, 3 men left. To the home half of the third we go. Still no score in this one. The New York Gremlins and Circle Tap. You're watching the Gremlins Network. I'm Jim Flanagan. I'll be back with more right after this. Seven, 8, 9 for Circle Tap in the home half of the third inning. That's the bottom of the order. Justin Laskowski, Francisco Ortellado, and the 9-hitter, Matthew Harrow. So these 3 getting their first look at Jack Bestgrove. Way outside. Don't see that too often from Jack Bestgrove, usually right around the plate, great control. Laskowski, a member of the Canadian national team. He's in his 3rd year with Circle Tap. So 2-1 to Justin. Comes in on the inside part of the plate. In for a called strike, evens the count at 2-2. Swing and a miss late on that one. 4 strikeouts in a row for Bestgrove, who's counting. We are, of course. 6 in the game thus far for Jack Bestgrove. Here's Francisco Ortellado, who is a newcomer this year to Circle Tap. Turned heads in that WBSC qualifier, hit 3 home runs in a game. Has yet to hit one for Circle Tap, I'm told. But certainly some power on display from Ortellado at that qualifier. If you missed the earlier game, AWP coming away a winner in their game against Midland. Midland had tied the game. It was 2-1 AWP. Midland tied it in the top of the 7th, only to have AWP come back and win it 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th. So great ball game brought to you by Softball Premier TV. And down on strikes goes Ortellado. 7 in the game, 5 in a row from Bestgrove.
Now Batting number 34, third baseman Matt Harlow.
So here's Matt Harrow stepping in for Circle Tap in the 9 spot. Little foul tip, got a piece of it. Like the other Matt on this team, Matt Harrow, a member of the Australian national team. And as we mentioned, we'll be in the World Cup next year with Australia winning one of the 2 tickets to that World Cup. Oh, and 2 on Harrow, advantage Jack Bestgrove. Mullins sets up outside, the pitch is there, but a ball off the plate. A little hopper, Mullins comes up with it throwing, but it's a foul ball. Harrow getting just a piece of it. Swing and a miss, looked like he took a little bit off of that one, so down on strikes goes Harrow. And the strikeout string continues. That's 6 in a row for Bestgrove, 8 on the night through 3 innings. No score in this one. New York Gremlins and the Circle Tap Dukes from Denmark, Wisconsin. We'll be back right after this. Top half of the 4th inning for the Gremlins, who are at the 7, 8, 9 spots in the batting order. A couple of youngsters sandwiched with Nick Mullins. Mullins will be the leadoff batter here, then followed by the 2 youngsters, Penuelas and Gonzalo Masmu. Still looking for the first run of the ball game.
Nick Mullins.
Way inside, misses with that one, does Beckett. It's been a mixed bag for the Gremlins offense this year. In Port Huron, had trouble scoring runs, but always seemed to come up with the big hit that they needed. They wound up winning that tournament. Simcoe, the Chiefs challenge, they put a few more runs on the board in that one, so still sorting things out, but having himself a great season thus far. 14 wins against just 2 losses. And still holding on to the number 1 ranking in the world. Two and 2 count to Mullins. Ball stays up high. Mullins, of course, will be in the 3rd of 3 qualifiers, that one being held in Oklahoma City in September. USA hosting that one at that beautiful facility in Oklahoma City. Soon to be home of the Olympic softball come 2028. The announcement coming from the Olympic Committee that despite the Olympics being held in Los Angeles, they're going to send the fast pitch teams, the women's softball teams, back to Oklahoma City. Best facility in town or the country for that matter. Ball misses just off the plate, and Mullins aboard for the second time with a walk. Catcher's eye.
Up to bat, number 30, the right fielder, Alvarado and Wallace.
Here's Abayardo Panuelos. Youngster had a base hit down the left field line last time up, wound up with a stand-up double. That one's right down the heart of Main Street, taken for a called strike. Full swing, lifts that one out into shallow left field. Coming on to make the catch is Tyler Johnson. He'll toss the ball back in. That keeps Nick Mullins at first base. So the youngster from Mexico, impressive in his first start as a New York Gremlin, making some good contact, putting the ball in play.
Now batting the third baseman, number 66, Gonzalo Masmo.
So with Mullins at first and one out, it'll be up to Gonzalo Masmu. Foul down the right field line. Ball put back in play by Jack. It looked like Jack Besgrove. Not sure what he's doing up and around down there. Just trying to stay warm, I guess. Foul tip in front of the plate. Masmu had a great start to the 2023 season. I think he had something on the order of 8 or 9 hits in a row to start the season. Always hard when you're not in the starting lineup all the time. So Gonzalo trying to make the most of his at-bats in this one, getting a start at third base with Jerome Remicke not here. Little change up, and it's in for a call. Third strike. 2 outs in the inning. Beckett, little body English on that one, but pulled the string. Masmu down on strike, so with 2 outs, it'll be up to Lucio Retamar. Retamar 0 for 2 on the night, grounded out to second his first, or to the pitcher first time up, and a strikeout victim last time. Looks at one way upstairs for a ball. Hard grounder through the hole between short and third, and Retamar has himself a base hit. Nick Mullins helping himself to 60 feet of real estate. He's down at second base now with 2 outs. Good piece of hitting by Retamar. You see on the replay here, just going the other way with it. Right in the 5.5 hole between Hero and Ortellado. Here's Malarczuk. Little flare down the left field line. Tyler Johnson going over and makes the catch down around the foul line. Out number 3, and the Gremlins come up empty. For New York in the top of the 4th inning. No runs, a hit. A couple of men left. To the home half of the 4th we go. You're watching the Ashland, Ohio tournament here on the Gremlins Network. We'll be right back. Home half of the fourth inning for Circle Tap, and we are back to the top of the order. So second look for all of these hitters against Jack Bestgrove. First time through, not much to show for it. Bestgrove with 8 strikeouts of the 9 hitters. Only Bischel's ground out to third breaks up that string. And at this point, 6 strikeouts in a row. So for Circle Tap in the fourth, it'll be Patterson, Johnson, and Bischel. Some of the people watching the broadcast have asked what kind of town Ashland, Ohio is like. Softball town, to be sure. They've been playing big-time ball here since the 70s. Gremlins, of course, with Coach Nick McCurry, longtime resident of Ashland, Ohio. He's been here from the 1970s, said he wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Beautiful, charming Midwestern town. Those of you movie buffs may know that nearby area, Mansfield, just up the road from Ashland, famous or made famous in the movie Shawshank Redemption. A couple of the big scenes in that movie shot right here in Ashland, Ohio. In for a called strike. They're actually having their 30th reunion of the people that made the movie next month in Mansfield in the Ashland, Ohio area. One of the banks here in town was the building they used in filming the scene where Tim Robbins goes in and helps himself to the warden's money. And then a thrift shop converted in the movie to a bus station where Morgan Freeman catches his ride out of town. Down on strikes goes Patterson for the first out. 7 strikeouts in a row for Jack Bestgrove. He has been double digits almost every game over the course of the 2024 season. Coming out of the WBSC qualifier, had 3 games with 13 strikeouts or more in a row. So if he was impressive in the 2023 season, the 36-2 year the Gremlins had, he has not lost an inch this year. There's a little ground ball back to Bestgrove. The string is broken, but the second out recorded. Looked like he took a little bit off of that pitch, got just a piece of it, bounces back to Bestgrove for the out. Here's Callum Bischel. Callum, we mentioned, a teammate of Jack Bestgrove on the Australian national team. Foul tip late on that one. Tough enough to hit in the daylight hours. I'm sure at this hour of the evening, no easy task for these Circle Tap hitters. Foul tip back to the screen. No balls, 2 strikes to Bischel. Fouled up and over out of play on the right side. We'll do it again. Oh, 0-2 advantage, Jack Bestgrove. Mullins sets up outside, and the pitch is right where the glove is, just off the plate outside. Fouled out of play on the right side. In for a call, third on the inside edge. So Jack Bestgrove continues to paint the corners. Sets down Circle Tap Dukes in order in the bottom of the fourth. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. Still no score in this one. We'll be back for the top half of the fifth inning right after this. You're watching the Gremlins Network. I'm Jim Flanagan. We'll be right back. Top of the fifth inning for the Gremlins, and early for both of these teams is getting late as we do the slide to 5, as my friend Lance Wynn likes to say. 3, 4, and 5 in the batting order. That's Inoka, Ochoa, and Cole Evans, the heart of this New York Gremlin batting order. Little foul tip in front of the plate. Inoka's been aboard twice tonight, both free passes, a walk back in the first inning, and then hit by a pitch in the third, but not able to advance and score. One hopper down to third. Up with it is Harrow over to Ezekiel for the out on the 5-3 putout.
Now batting number 8, the first baseman, Eric Ochoa.
For the Gremlins, it's Eric Ochoa. Eric 1 for 2 on the night. Struck out in his first time to the plate, and then singled to left field his last time up. A line shot in the hole between third and short. In on the outside edge for a called strike. Good choice by the skipper of Circle Tap, I think, in tossing Beckett against these Gremlins. Segura and McCullough have thrown more innings this year, and probably Gremlins have had better looks or have seen those two more than they have the youngster Matt Beckett. Beckett, as we mentioned, only 13 innings pitched against 20 or 30 by Segura and McCullough. But a different look he is giving the New York hitters, and lots of trouble up to this point in the ball game. That one's lifted out into deep center field. Going back is Scott Patterson, and all he can do is watch it go. Eric Ochoa, home run. Gremlins on top by 1. Well, Eric Ochoa got a look at a pitch that he liked, got all of it. That ball carried to center. Patterson took a few steps, and all he could do was watch it sail. Watch it on the replay, you'll see. A little bit too much of the plate. Goodbye. So 1-0 Gremlins. Cole Evans will step in with 1 out. Hard one hopper to short. Ortellado up with it. Nice defensive play by Francisco for the 2nd out.
Number 2, the second baseman, Kane Mumu.
Here's Teen Mumu for the Gremlins. Teen 0 for 2 on the night. A strikeout and that little flare fair foul ball down the right field line. It was caught by Bichel for the 3rd out of that inning. That one's right up the middle for a base hit. Nice piece of hitting by Teen. Just a high hopper, but hit him where they ain't, and he's aboard with a base hit.
With 2 outs, coming to bat, number 3, the catcher, Nick Mullins.
So with Mumu down at first base and 2 outs, it'll bring up Nick Mullins, the catcher for the Gremlins. Skipper Greg Leather was sending runners from first base with 2 outs very often in Port Huron, and off to the races as Mumu steals second easily. Gremlins actually had a couple of runners thrown out in the Port Huron tournament, but Greg Leather stayed aggressive and it paid off down the stretch, able to move the runners over. Tain with great speed, of course. Now Mullins with an opportunity to bring him home. What do they say? You don't miss the shots you don't take, but that one's in for a called strike. Looked like he took a little bit off that pitch. Mumu looking over at skipper Greg Leather in the third base box. Anything to the grass, you know he's coming home. Skipper would like to have an insurance run in this spot. Mullins, a good RBI guy, would like to be the one to drive it home. Penuelas, the rookie, on deck. Scott Patterson shaded way over towards right field, so the gap is in left center field. Line down to second base, a one-hopper. Up with it is Laskowski. Over to Ezekiel for the final out. But the Gremlins cash one in on the towering home run to straightaway center field by Eric Ochoa. We'll head to the home half of the fifth inning. New York on top now, 1-0. You're watching the Ashland, Ohio tournament here on the Gremlins Network. Big inning coming up for the Circle Tack Dukes, now chasing one run. Heart of their order coming up, 4, 5, and 6. That's Pinto, Damon, and Blair Ezekiel. Jack Bestgrove, the starter for the Gremlins, has looked superb in this one. 10 strikeouts thus far through 4 innings, just 2 of the outs of the non-strikeout variety. We were talking a little bit about the Shawshank Redemption connection to Ashland, Ohio here. Mansfield, just up the road, actually the location where the prison was located. Lots of local folks filing in earlier tonight. I had a chat with one of them, was here with his family to watch the game, and told me he lived in Mansfield, and come to find out he actually works at the prison, has for 24 years. So as in the movies, as in real life. In for a called strike. Pinto, one of the players on the Dukes that could get them even with one swing of the bat. Right now, Bestgrove on top with an 0-2 count, though. Swing and a miss on the riser. Empty is Pinto, down on strikes for the second time tonight. Strikeout number 11 for Bestgrove.
The catcher, Tyler Damon.
Here's Tyler Damon, the youngster from Wisconsin. Youngster or not, Tyler comes into the game sporting a .483 batting average, so among the leaders. Would like to put something in play, give them a runner. High hopper down to third, foul. Up throwing for the Gremlins down the right field line, Kuba Ositka, youngster from the Czech Republic, but throwing just to get ready for tomorrow, no doubt. This game, all Jack Bestgrove. Fouled out of play on the left side. Two new pitchers on the roster for the Gremlins this year. Kuba won, and Daniel Chapman recently signed by the Gremlins. Missing legend, of course, Andrew Kirkpatrick, longtime Gremlin. Retired after last season, went out with a flourish. Gremlins winning every tournament that they competed in, including the USA National Tournament. 8th time they've won that tournament. And the ISC World Tournament for the 3rd time. So out with a bang was Andrew Kirkpatrick. Swing and a miss late on that one is Damon. Down on strikes he goes.
Now batting, number 21, the first baseman, Blair Ezekiel.
So 12 strikeouts to this point in the game. Ezekiel will be the batter for the Dukes. Bestgrove trying to make it a baker's dozen. Defense for the Gremlins straight away, I could tell you that, but the defense almost a non-factor here tonight. Bestgrove and Mullins play and catch. In for a called strike on the outside edge. In fairness to Circle Tap, it's not like anyone else has been able to figure out Jack Besgrove this year. Double-digit strikeouts everywhere he's been, everywhere he's thrown. Misses upstairs. Swing and a miss on the riser. So the count full on Ezekiel. 3 balls, 2 strikes. High hopper up the middle, and there's a base hit for Circle Tap. First one of the evening as the veteran rounds first and takes a congratulatory handshake down there from Coach Bob Ginger. So the string is broken. It'll bring Justin Laskowski to the plate. Ezekiel represents the potential tying run. Coach Scott Standifer coming down to chat with our home plate umpire, reporting a pinch runner for Ezekiel. See if we can pick up the scorecard and tell you who that is. Cody Smith in to run for Ezekiel. Cody, by the way, also an Australian player. Part of their training program, not yet with the national team, but on his way perhaps. He's over at first base, and he represents the potential tying run in this 1-0 ball game. As dominant as Besgrove has been against the Circle Tap hitters, it's still just a 1-run ball game. Way outside off the plate, away from the lefty Laskowski. Ortillado waiting on deck. Ortillado, we mentioned 3 home runs in a game in that qualifier a couple weeks ago. Tries to check his swing. They'll appeal it. He didn't go, says our base umpire. I'd like to see the replay on that one. We'll watch it on the archive. Hard to tell from up here. Ball upstairs for ball 3. One of the few 3-ball counts that Besgrove has had all night. Wrong time to have it, perhaps. Misses upstairs, and that'll send Cody Smith down to second base. Now in scoring position. Potential tying run, and Laskowski at first, the potential go-ahead run. Still 2 outs in the inning. Quick conference from Nick Mullen to his pitcher, Jack Besgrove.
Now batting the shortstop, Franco Ortillado.
Have to think that perhaps the quick conference with Mullins reminding Besgrove or Ortillado with great power. Don't get careless with one. Smith over on the second base side of the bag, trying to peer over the shoulder of Besgrove. Ball stays up high on the first pitch. Ortellado just one at bat in the game. Strikeout swinging last time. Smith, the youngster at second base, good speed. Scott Standifer over in the third base box. Anything with an opportunity to score, he'll be sending him, no doubt. Redemar and Inoka in left and center, respectively, in a little more shallow than they've been this evening. Penuelas a little deeper in right than the other two. So 1-ball count on Francisco Ortellado. Foul tip out of play over on the right side. Got a pretty good piece of that one. A ball and 2 strikes. Bestgrove looking for that final strike to get out of the inning. Started the inning with 2 strikeouts. Next 2 runners have reached. And he hit him. Looked like a rise ball just came way in the hands, so that'll send Ortellado down to first base. And just like that, circle tap with the bases loaded. Potential tying run at third, potential go-ahead now in scoring position. The inning started with a pair of strikeouts. Ezekiel hit a ball up the middle for the first hit of the game. Laskowski walked, and now the hit batter to Ortellado. And the bases are full of Dukes. Here's Matt Harrow. Bases loaded, 2 outs for circle tap. Swing and a miss on a little change riser away from the lefty Harrow. Harrow 0 for 1, strikeout victim, but then most everyone has been against Jack Bestgrove. Swing and a miss on a good rise ball up and out of the zone. So game on the line here, 0-2 count. Bases full of circle tack Dukes. Matt Harrow against Jack Bestgrove with an 0-2 count. High hopper up the middle, that's going to score 1. Right behind him is the go-ahead run. And a single brings home 2 for circle tap. So unable to make contact for the majority of the game. Strikeout after strikeout. And circle tap has struck twice here in the 6th.
Up to bat, number 9, the center fielder, Scott Patterson.
5th. So it's Harrow down at second base. Ortellado over at third. 2 runs in. That was the pinch runner for Ezekiel and Justin Laskowski. So circle tap turning this game on its head. The Gremlins were cruising behind the pitching of Jack Bestgrove. Didn't score until the home run by Ochoa. But now circle tap has struck back twice. Foul up and out of play on the right side. The batter's Patterson, Scott Patterson, 2 strikeouts on the night. Tried to check his swing, couldn't hold up, and he's down on strikes. 13 on the night for Jack Besgrove, but Circle Tap cashes in a couple of big ones. They take a 2-1 lead as we head to the top half of the 6th inning. The Gremlins down to their final 6 outs, trailing 2-1. You're watching the Gremlins Network from Brookside Park in Ashland, Ohio. I'm Jim Flanagan. I'll be right back with more right after this. Top half of the 6th inning for the Gremlins. The roles have reversed here. New York Gremlins now chasing a run here in the late innings. 7, 8, 9 in their batting order. 8, 9, and 1. That's Puenuelas, Gonzalo Masmu, and then back to the top of the order with Lucio Retamar. Shows bunt, doesn't get it down. They appeal and they say no, he didn't go. I'll let you watch the replay and tell me what you think. Pulling the bat back out of the way, so no strike. This is the speed portion of the batting order for the Gremlins. Puenuelas, the youngster from Mexico. Masmu runs well, as does Lucio Retamar. That one's fouled up and over the booth here, right behind home plate. It all started with the base hit from the veteran Ezekiel. That's what set things in motion. Matt Hero, the hero of the hour, at least for the moment, with a 2 RBI single. Puenuelas puts one down the left field line once again. That one goes foul. Gremlins have to like what they've seen from the youngster from Mexico, Abayardo Puenuelas, thus far. He was aboard first time up with his first base hit. Made good contact every other time. Ball low. Outfield for Circle Tap, playing him fairly deep considering the way he's been making contact with the ball. Big gap in right center field. Bichel shaded towards the foul line in right. Any flare, there's a line shot up the middle for a base hit. So Puenuelas with his second hit of the night. Nice piece of hitting, just right straight away. See if we can catch it on the replay. Ball was up a little bit in the strike zone, but head down the barrel, goes right at it. Straight away, ball got too much of the strike zone, and he now represents the potential tying run. Gonzalo Masmu at the plate. We'll see how the Gremlins play this one. Shows bunt, gets it down, a hard bunt back to third. He throws it away down the right field line. Coming around third is Puenuelas, safe at home.
There's no umpire. There's no umpire. He's got to come to home. He's at third base.
Watch the replay. You see Masmu getting down the bunt fairly hard. And it looked like he hurried to throw the ball down the right field line, and Penuelas able to come all the way around to score. A bit of commotion on the field. Scott Standifer coming down to try and calm things or slow things down, and he wants to chat with our home plate umpire. There you see the slide comes in, but the plate umpire down the third base line, so he's not in the picture. Nice diving attempt by Tyler Damon, but no chance to get the speedy Penuelas. So the youngster in his rookie game for the New York Gremlins scoring the tying run. We've got a 2-2 ball game now. So Masmu aboard now at third base on the throwing error. It looked like they had successfully sacrificed over and would have had an out, but the throw cost them a run. Here's Redemar at the top of the order. Ball way upstairs. So the Gremlins strike right back. Score a run to tie it. Go ahead run now just 60 feet away over at third base. High hopper, Beckett waits for it to come down and fires over to first just in time to get Redemar. Not a hard hit ball, but one of those balls that bounces high. And as a defensive player, you'll see it on the replay here. He had to wait for the ball to come down, and Redemar with great speed very nearly made it down the line ahead of the throw. Meanwhile, Masmu stays put at third. That's first base coach Matt Allen, I believe, down there talking to our home plate umpire. The discussion seems to be that asking the question, did they re-enter Ezekiel, who left for a pinch runner after getting the first hit of the game for Circle Tap? I think that may be. So the re-entry being announced, what impact that'll have on the game, I'm not quite sure yet. Skipper Greg Leather is going to come down from third to chat with our home plate umpire. We'll have to catch up on the details right now, though. It's Redemar back at the plate. So apparently the out recorded and then reversed, I believe, because of the re-entry. Circle Tap making the announcement after the play because Redemar is back at the plate after hitting that high hopper. There's a little flare down the left field line. It's going to be foul. So it did apparently relate to the re-entry for Ezekiel, but they announced it after Redemar had been thrown out at first base. So the only conclusion I can come to is that reset brought Redemar back to the plate. High fly ball out to left. Johnson has a bead on it going back towards the warning track. Meanwhile, Mosmu can tag up and score easily. So a sac fly for Redemar. There you see it on the replay. Got a good piece of it.
Now batting the designated player.
So a big run for the Gremlins. They go on top 3-2 on the sac fly. So we'll see how that plays out right now. Looks to be a big problem for Circle Tap. 3-2, the Gremlins lead. Ladislao Malarczuk at the plate. Base is now clear. Upstairs for a ball. So Panuela scoring to tie it. Mosmu scoring to give them a 3-2 lead. And the tables once again have flipped. No score at all in the game until Ochoa's home run in the 5th. That gave the Gremlins a 1-0 lead. Circle Tap came back with 2 after not being able to get a hit. Ezekiel led off the inning with a single, and Matt Harrow driving in 2 with the bases loaded. That puts Circle Tap on top, and now the Gremlins striking back with 2 of their own. Downstairs for a ball, and Malarczuk is aboard.
At the plate, number 89, the center fielder, Ben Anoka.
Here's Benny Noka. He's been aboard twice tonight, both free passes, a walk and a hit by pitch. Grounded to third his last time up. Off the plate outside. So both starters, Matt Beckett for Circle Tap and Jack Besgrove for the Gremlins, still in the ball game. Both have pitched outstanding this evening. Ball upstairs. So Greg Leather's been aggressive with his base runners. Malarczuk runs well enough, but in this situation with the heart of the order, 3, 4, 5, Inoka, Ochoa, and Evans coming up, I think not. And Inoka once again takes the walk 3 times aboard on free passes as Benny shows patience. And winds up at first base. Going on down to second is Malarczuk. And that's going to bring a visit from Scott Standifer. Don't see anyone throwing on the sideline for Circle Tap. Have to think he's telling him he's still in a 1-run ball game. And try and make good pitches, especially against someone like Ochoa, who's already taken him deep with that home run to straightaway center last time up.
With 1 out coming to the plate.
Segura and McCullough, the other 2 pitchers for Circle Tap, in case you're wondering. So it's Malarczuk at second. Benny Noka over at first base, and Ochoa now with a chance to break the game open. Off the plate away. Good location on Ochoa. You just have to be careful pitching away. You don't get too much of the plate. He likes that outer half. "40-foot drop in the dirt. Good grab by catcher Tyler Damon. Outside edge, in for a called strike. Good location again by Beckett. Off the plate away, and again, good short hop grab by Tyler Damon. Damon, as we mentioned, just 24 or 25 years of age, but looking like a veteran catcher behind the plate. Saved a couple in this at-bat. That one's upstairs, taken for a ball. And Ochoa's aboard with a walk. That'll send Inoka to third. Malarzuk to third, Inoka to second. And Cole Evans, the batter for the Gremlins. Looks like someone up throwing on the sidelines. Can't quite see the number from where we are. Throwing on the sidelines for circle tap. Jorge Segura. Pitcher from Guatemala. Bases loaded for the Gremlins. Evans at the plate. Stabbed in the dirt again by Tyler Damon. So the Gremlins scored a pair to get back on top of this one, but it's been walk, walk, walk since then. Have to think if he doesn't get Evans, we may see Segura. Ball high. You have to think fatigue setting in perhaps for the youngster from Australia, Matthew Beckett. It's a tough lineup to get through once, let alone to this point in the game. He has kept his team close. But it's a tough night when you have to be careful with every pitch. Flared into right field. That one's going to be right at right fielder Bichel. Tagging on the play is Malarzuk. He'll score an insurance run, number 4 for the Gremlins. Inoka to third, Ochoa to second on a hard hit ball off the bat of Cole Evans.
Now batting number 2, second baseman, Tane Mumu.
That'll bring Tane Mumu to the plate. Skipper Greg Leather comes down from third to give him a word of encouragement. Second and third for the Gremlins, on top now by a 4-2 score. How quickly the momentum can change in the game. Seems like we've watched a separate game in the last inning or inning and a half with a couple of lead changes. Foul tipped to the screen. Good piece of that one had Tane Mumu. Mumu with a hard base hit his last time up. Beckett missed with that pitch, got too much of the plate. Tane took it right back up the middle. Called strike 3. Down goes Mumu. Side retired, but not before the Gremlins cash him in. We head to the home half of the 6th inning. 4-2, New York Gremlins on top. You're watching the Gremlins Network. I'm Jim Flanagan. We'll be back with more. Don't go away. Home half of the 6th inning, and now it is Circle Tap down to their last 6 outs, trailing by 2 against the Gremlins. Jack Besgrove, the starter for New York, still in the game.
Now batting, number 2, Tyler Johnson.
2, 3, and 4 in the order, so the heart of the order to follow. Right now, Johnson, Bichel, and Pinto. Shows bunt, floats one in for a called strike. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Johnson.
Number 27, the right fielder, Caleb Beschel.
Bichel 0 for 2 on the night, a ground out to third, and his strikeout his last time up. In for a called strike. Floats that one in just above the letters. Way upstairs, taken for a ball, 2-1 on Callum Bichel. Australian against Australian, as it has been so many times tonight. As we mentioned, 4 on the Circle Tap squad from that same team. Along with, of course, Jack Besgrove. That one's fouled out of play over on the right side. Gremlins will play 2 tomorrow, 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock local time. Those will be brought to you here on the Gremlins Network, courtesy of our friends at Softball Premier TV, Luciano Lofrano, sitting next to me behind the controls, responsible for all of the great pictures you've seen all night long and will see throughout the weekend. Foul up and out of play on the right side. Want to remind you that Softball Premier TV is streaming some of the other games, that is non-Gremlin games, so you can tune in and watch those as well. Check the schedule online. Off the plate outside, ball. So Beeschel battling against Jack Besgrove, trying to breathe life into this Circle Tap team. Up the middle off of Besgrove, picked up by Evans and throws him out. Hard shot off the leg, I believe, of Besgrove. They're going to check and make sure he's okay. Outstanding play by Cole Evans to stay with it and get the out. And watch it on the replay there. 1 to 6 to 3, not the usual way. More often that's a double play combo when you start it with the pitcher, but that one caromed off Jack Besgrove. In the book, it's just an out, 2 of them in the inning now, and Luigi Pinto, the batter, swing and a miss. Swing and a miss late is Pinto. Swing and a miss, and Pinto down on strikes for the 3rd time tonight. 3 up and down for Besgrove. Side retired. The Gremlins take a 4-2 lead into the top of the 7th. We'll be back with that and more right after this. You're watching the Gremlins Network. Top half of the 7th inning, 4-2. Gremlins on top of this one. It'll be 7-8-9. Mullins, Penuelas, and Masmu. This is the part of the order that turned the tide for the Gremlins tonight. Penuelas getting aboard and starting that rally. Ball inside. Want to take a quick moment and thank our sponsor, Bruce Tansky. He is the one responsible for these broadcasts coming to you every weekend or every tournament. We thank him for his generous support of the Gremlins Network. Down the heart of Main Street, a little bit low, I think, on that call. Misses are in for a called strike on that one, and around the knees. A couple of Australians going tonight. Jack Besgrove for the Gremlins, Matt Beckett for Circle Tap. They have both gone the distance in this one. Misses upstairs high for a ball, and Mullins is aboard with a walk. The only knock, I think, on Beckett or on the performance tonight, he has been stellar, but a few walks, last inning in particular, and I think maybe that's behind the visit from Scott Standifer. It's a double-edged sword when you face a team like the Gremlins. So many good hitters. You want to pitch them all carefully, but you fall behind hitters, and next thing you know, there's 2 or 3 men on base instead of just one. And I think we're going to see a pitching change. Looks like Segura, or is it McCullough? So pitching change will take a moment while they warm up the reliever. And it is indeed Jorge Segura, the fine young right-hander from Guatemala. Segura actually has the most innings of any Circle Tap pitcher on the year thus far, 38 innings. He has 55 strikeouts in those 38 innings. Devin McCullough, second in innings with 25. He also has 55 strikeouts. So they've been the mainstays. Circle Tap certainly has to be happy with the performance of young Matthew Beckett from Australia to this point in the game. But trying to keep things close. Gremlins on top by 2. And speaking of youngsters, here's Panuelas. Panuelas, we mentioned in his first game as a New York Gremlin, a couple of hits already tonight. And I think if you were picking a player of a game other than the effort by Jack Besgrove in the circle, you'd have to think about Panuelas. He's been the one making the offense go tonight. Very exciting player to watch. There's one off the pitcher's knee, off of Segura. Rounding second and tripping over the shortstop is Nick Mullins. I think they're going to give him third. Hard hit ball off the leg of Segura. So Panuelas, another hit on the night. 3 for the youngster from Mexico. Nick Mullins, see if we can pick it up on the replay. It's kind of hard to see in the distance, but shortstop Ortellado was trying to make a play and got in the way of Mullins, so he's at third. Runners at the corners. Down to the 9 spot we go. It'll be Gonzalo Masmu. So Mullins belongs to Beckett. Can't close the book on him yet. Masmu at the plate. Hard grounder right back at Segura. They've got Mullins caught off third. Now in a rundown over to third, and the catcher, Damon, will run him down for the out. Masmu helping himself to second base on the play, and Panuelas over at third. So second and third, good defensive play by Segura. Pretty hard hit ball. Mullins just came off the bag. You saw it on the replay. And got caught in the rundown. 1-5-2. The tag by Damon. Back to the top of the order we go with Redamar. Fielder's choice to Mazmu now at second. Penuelas at third. Swing and a miss by Redamar. Missing inside, Redamar aboard with a walk. That'll load the bases once again for the Gremlins. And Ladislao Malarczuk will be the batter.
Now batting number 24, Ladislao Lamar.
Redamar at first, Mazmu at second, Penuelas at third, all with great speed. Segura needing outs right here. We mentioned 55 strikeouts in 38 innings pitched. Certainly capable of striking himself out of trouble here. Infield drawn in. They'd like to turn a pair, so thinking ground ball is circle tap. Misses inside with that one. So it's Harrow and Ortellado on the left side in. Leskowski and Ezekiel on the right side in. And the pitch is in for a strike. Swing and a miss. Redamar comes up empty. Big pitch from Segura here. Grounder foul. Swing and a miss, good location. Buried that one under the hands of Malarczuk. So a big out for Jorge Segura. And the batter will be Ben Inoka. Inoka with 3 free passes tonight. 2 walks and a hit by pitch. So Inoka 0 for 1 on the night, but he's been aboard 3 times. Speed at every base. In for a called strike on the outside edge. Misses on the outside edge, in for a called strike. So 0-2. Segura looking for a strikeout here. Off the plate outside. They appeal the call, did not go, says our base umpire. So 2-2 on Inoka. Grounded foul up along the left side. We'll do it again. Big spot in the game for Circle Tap. Change up off the plate outside, and the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled up and out of play on the right side. So Benny Inoka has looked at a number of pitches tonight. He walked 3 times, now working with a 3-2 count. Upstairs for a ball, and the run comes home. Inoka is aboard with his 3rd walk and 4th free pass of the night. So Inoka down to first. Bases still loaded, and the wrong guy up if you're a Circle Tap fan. Eric Ochoa, top hitter for the Gremlins, homered earlier in the game. Grounder to second, flips over to short. They go for the out. Side retired, but the Gremlins tack on another. To the home half of the 7th we go. We'll be right back. New York Gremlins on top here, 5-2. Last call for Circle Tap, home half of the 7th inning. They're trailing by 3, 6, 7, 8 in the batting order. That's Tyler Damon, Blair Ezekiel, and Justin Laskowski. Or Tejado would follow if we get that far. If you joined us late in this one, the first half of the game, all you missed were strikeouts for the most part. No runs scored. Not until Eric Ochoa's home run in the 5th gave the Gremlins a 1-0 lead. Matt Harrow drove in 2 to give Circle Tap a 2-1 lead. The Gremlins tied it and at the moment have pulled away to a 5-2 margin. Damon a pair of strikeouts against Bestgrove tonight. High hopper to third, Mazmu to Ochoa, 1 out.
Now batting number 21, the first baseman, Blair Ezekiel.
Here's Blair Ezekiel. Ezekiel got the first hit of the game for Circle Tap. That didn't come until 2 outs in the 5th inning. Had a base hit up the middle and started the rally that gave Circle Tap their 2 runs and for a time the lead. Ball high upstairs. Ezekiel 1 for 2. Struck out his first time up to go with a single. Came home and scored the first run for Circle Tap, or his pinch runner did. Change up in for a called strike. Ball high. Circle Tap, we mentioned a tough loss to Hill United, the number 2 ranked team in that championship game at Boys of Summer. They led in that one. They led here against the number 1 ranked Gremlins, just couldn't hold. So have played the top 2 teams in the world. Very close. Full count now to Ezekiel. Swing and a miss, down on strikes goes Ezekiel.
With 2 outs coming to the plate, number 19, second baseman Justin Laskowski.
So down to their final out are the Circle Tap Dukes. It'll be up to Justin Laskowski. Laskowski, we mentioned, a member of the Canadian national team. They will also be in the World Cup next year. They'll be the host up in Prince Albert. In for a called strike. Call strike 3, and that's a ball game, folks. Final score from here, New York Gremlins, 5 runs. Circle Tap Dukes, 2 runs.
New York Gremlins 5,
We'll be back on the air tomorrow at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock with more Gremlin action. That's 1 o'clock and 3 Eastern time. Adjust your time zones accordingly. Say a quick hello to my lovely wife, Maddie, watching back at home in California. Staying up late to watch this one, not as late as we are here as we approach the midnight hour. You've been watching the Gremlins Network. I'm Jim Flanagan. We'll see you tomorrow.
For the latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now, softballpremiertv.com.